Hi everyone, Angie here, and welcome to Monday Night Yoga, coming to you live from the Neva Lomason library page. As always, we are hopeful, especially now the vaccine's coming out, that again, someday soon we will be able to practice together in person. But while we have to keep these safety precautions in place, we'll just keep doing it online every Monday night, 6:30. And we tend to keep it pretty basic. If you've not done one of these with us yet, just a way to sort of set the intention in a positive direction for the week and to get a nice gentle wind down so that you can prepare to have a good night's rest. So thank you for joining. Namaste. So we really aren't going to use much in lieu of props tonight. I have a pillow here because we'll be doing some stuff on our knees, hands and knees, and then standing knees. So if you have sensitivity to the knees, you would double up on your mat or have a blanket or a pillow handy. I'm going to do a lot of pulsing movements, and hopefully that feels good after sort of getting back to work here today from the weekend. So sitting up nice and tall, we'll just take a brief amount of time to shift gears, get grounded in this practice, in this body. So being open to your senses is a great way to get grounded. Notice any sounds you may be hearing. I can hear the heater in this space. Notice if you smell anything. Notice anything that might be touching your skin right now. Anything you can taste. And if the eyes are closed, just the darkness that you see, or maybe the eyes are open and you're blurring your vision, just being aware of all five senses. And then start tuning into the rhythm of your breath, breathing into the nose, back out through the nose as much as you are able to do so. And then using your breath, start bringing your awareness into the alignment of the body, the posture. So as you inhale, visualize that breath reaching up through the midline of the body, helping you extend and get taller. And as you exhale, just feel yourself releasing, softening into this sitting pose. Inhaling again, extending, lengthening, creating space. But then exhaling, relaxing into that space you've created. And just stay with the breath like that a few more rounds. Just start checking in with yourself mentally. Have you had a long day? Has it been challenging? Maybe the mind is tired. Maybe you're feeling hopeful. Maybe you're feeling relieved to be home and on your yoga mat. Just noticing how you're feeling right now. And then as always, just see if an intention comes up for you for this practice, and you can set that intention for yourself before we get moving. One more breath. And then slowly start to blink the eyes open if they were closed. We're going to take our time coming toward the end of the mat in our child's pose. So for this child's pose, if you wanted, you might have your knees in a wide positioning. Otherwise, they're hip width apart. See what works best for you. And this is a really restful, child's pose, not so much activated as it is to rest and release through the back body. So you might even stack your fists and rest your forehead onto the stacked fists here. Just going to ease our way into this practice. Breathing deeply. 2 more breaths here. Feel that back body, lower back body expanding as you inhale. And then as you exhale, feel the abdomen sort of move away from the thighs. And 1 more big breath in here. Exhale. And then coming up onto the hands and the knees. When you're ready, we're going to extend this left leg out. Just get a nice calf stretch through that left side. Breathing, pushing through the heel of that left foot. Really being mindful of how you're holding your weight on the hands, making sure the hands are shoulder width, pressing through the fingers, the thumb pads as well. And then other side, left knee balances, right leg extends out behind you. Breathing. One more breath here. Stretching and releasing back downward. Back to the hands and the knees. We're going to come into our dog tilt and cat tilt pulses. Exhaling into your cat. 2 more times. And 1 more. And push the hips back into child's pose. Again, resting here. Do a little adjustment with my heater and with my camera. Let's get a little toasty in here. So 1 more breath, child's pose. And then slowly back up to the hands and the knees. Curl your toes under, send your hips up into downward facing dog. Pressing the hips back, nodding the head yes, shaking the head no, letting go of any tension in the neck, in the shoulders. Feel the shoulders broaden as your external rotation takes place in the upper arms. Big breath in. As the breath flows out, start walking the feet up toward the top of your mat so that you end up in a soft standing forward fold. The knees are bent here. If you can, you can rest your torso on your thighs. Again, opening through the back body. And then planting the hands, walking the hands back, or walking the feet back, rather, keeping the hands where they are, and then lowering your knees. But we're going to keep the toes curled under and start walking the hands back toward your knees. Now you might stay here, hands on the ground, or you may be able to sit upright and stretch the feet this way. If it feels too intense or there's pain there, then come back onto the hands for a little extra support. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And 1 more. And then hands come back down. We let the tops of the feet rest onto the mat. And then, if it felt okay, some of us, this is available, hero pose, but for some of us it's not. If it's available for you, come into And then either, with blocks under your hands, but you don't have to have blocks necessarily under the hands. Many of us can reach without it, but you do what works best for you. Come up onto the fingertips. See if you can roll back onto the feet and lift the knees. This is going to stretch the tops of your feet. Notice I'm not collapsing through the shoulders. Instead, I'm sneaking in a little chest opening stretch, heart opening stretch as well. One more breath. And then slowly start to lower your knees back down. And back into child's pose, Balasana. Taking your time, hands and knees. Curl the toes. Downward facing dog. Breathing here. Big breath in. As the breath flows out, we're going to reach the feet back and come into plank pose here. Just pressing through the hands. Activating through the armpits as well as through your core, really pulling that ankle in. Take a big breath in. As the breath flows out, lower the knees. Hug the elbows in as you lower down to the belly. Let the tops of the feet rest onto the mat. And then head is center. Maybe sneak the hands forward a little closer to being in line with the head. And inhale into a cobra pulse. Exhale and lower down. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale. Keep the sacrum broad. Try to release any clenching through the glutes. Exhale and lower. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale and lower. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale and lower. Notice my shoulders are staying rolled open. I'm not letting them, sneak up by the ears. Instead, squeezing them back towards one another. Exhale, lower down. Hands at chest level. Inhale, hands and knees, core is activated. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let the head release. Maybe pedal the heels a bit in this down dog, if that feels good. I'm getting ready to come into a sitting position. So lowering your knees and taking a seat here. So sitting up nice and tall. Here, if you wanted to, and I'm going to, you could sit on the edge of either a blanket or a block or a pillow. A blanket or a pillow is going to be a lot softer than a block, but use whatever you have available because we're going to do a seated twist, like a seated twisting pulse. Basically, we're going to mimic the 5 Tibetans, but we're going to take it down a notch from the 5 Tibetans. And so I invite you to do that with me, but if you are very familiar with practicing the 5 Tibetans and you want to practice them in a more conventional way, then feel free to do that more advanced option on your own, since this is your practice. So for this first Tibetan, you would, for practitioners that practice it a good bit, you would be standing up and spinning, and you would do 7 spins and then just pause. Okay, but if you're following along with me, we're going to do a Kundalini Kriya here instead by placing the fingers in the fronts of the shoulders there, and the thumbs are just going to kind of hook back behind. Notice I'm not holding tension here in the shoulders and the arms, but the elbows are sort of hanging heavy. I am, though, still lifting up through this midline of my body. I'm going to inhale to the left and exhale to the right for 7 times. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the opposite direction. It's going to be that rapid, short breath that we use in a lot of Kundalini Kriyas. So different than our Ujjayi, longer, drawn-out breath. Here we go. 3, center, pausing, and then we're going to inhale to the right, exhale to the left 7 times. Here we go. Back to center. Release the hands, let them rest on your legs. We're going to take 2 cleansing breath and breath of fire. So inhale deeply through the nose. Exhale with force through the mouth. Expel all the air out. Make it audible. Do it one more time. Inhale fully. Exhale it